Hello and welcome to the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024, and it feels as if though we are a biotechnology company. The reason I say that is because I was chatting with a buddy of mine and he's like, this whole thing with getting listed on the Puro Earth registry is somewhat similar, one can argue, to a biotechnology company or a drug company, a pharmaceutical company having a potential drug being reviewed by the, say, U.S. Food and Drug Administration, right? And if the drug gets FDA approval, because perhaps it has successfully passed through all of its various trials and it is deemed to be, commercially viable, or at least, that it does no harm and actually has, I guess, proven efficacy, as compared to a placebo, hey, it's something that can be sold to the public, right? And hopefully help a lot of people. And in our case, right, in terms of Stronghold Digital Mining, it can kind of feel as if though, like, all right, we've got this pending application with Puro Earth. Now, we already know that Puro Earth has very rigorous standards, right? And so we've had to submit a lot of scientific data to support our claim that our process, which is really more like direct air to mineralization in many ways, which kind of makes us very unique. We're so unique in so many ways. I feel as if though we sort of categorize ourselves in a world unto itself, which sometimes isn't so helpful when nobody even knows that we exist. But with all of that being said, hey, is our process legitimate? Yes. Has it been audited? Yes. Is it something that's, replicatable? Yes. Is this something that's like absolutely real? Yes. This isn't some flim-flam, hey man, we sort of experimented over a weekend and a couple of years with some of the beneficial use ash and we kind of cooked up this, idea that we could somehow, capture carbon or mineralize carbon. No, man, this has been a very, very profound process, not an easy process, a very, very profound process. And so to the extent we sort of like surpass that threshold, right? That hey, Puro Earth says, yes, what Stronghold is doing is legitimate. It's awesome. It meets, in fact, it probably even exceeds our very, very high standards. This is something that we are going to approve for listing on our registry. It really is going to be a big deal. Okay. I know that sometimes I've intimated that, hey, maybe we can actually do everything correctly and the market, like the stock price, just won't respond. But I'll tell you this, right? There are a lot of interesting things that can potentially happen. So let's say you get this project approved, and between now and the end of the year, we build out, say, 150 carboliths. Let's go with the higher end of the range that was provided in our December 2023 carbon capture presentation. Let's further assume that the cost per carbolith is going to be on the higher end of the range, say $60,000. Okay, $1 to $2 million, as I recall, in like construction costs. Hey, let's just say all in, it's going to cost $12 million to roll out all of these carboliths, get them built both at Scrubgrass and at Panther Creek. Although I do believe that Panther Creek is likely going to have to potentially go through its own certification process, simply because of the nature of the beneficial use ash that comes out at Panther Creek is potentially scientifically different enough from what comes out at Scrubgrass that, again, because Puro Earth is a very, very high standard organization, they may feel as if though, hey, you know what? We've validated what's happening over at Scrubgrass. We're going to want to take a fresh look at what is happening over at Panther Creek. But, hopefully it'll be a somewhat more expedited process simply because we've already been through that first rodeo, so to speak, with them as it relates to the Scrubgrass project. So what does this ultimately mean then? When we become commercially transactable, one can make the argument, hey, what if we know for sure, right? Like the next 10 years, we're going to have plenty of mine waste to cleanup, so to speak, right, at our mine waste to energy facilities. And in that process, we're going to be creating beneficial use hash, say for a minimum of 10 years. So if you take a look at the amount of money, forget about, government, Inflation Reduction Act, 45Q treatment, forget about that for a moment. Let's just look at the voluntary market. And let's just assume for a moment, hey, we could potentially generate, let's just be really conservative, okay, just to keep it super, super conservative. Let's say we can generate 15 million a year selling these carbon removal credits. What if you were to then attempt to package this potential income stream and look out over 10 years and say, hey, you're looking at about $150 million that could be coming in. What if you could potentially sell a bond or create some other type of financial instrument that could conceivably give us a tremendous amount of money right up front, right? Which then we can potentially use for a variety of different reasons, right? Different projects, hey, be it upgrading our Bitcoin mining fleet, right? Again, there's a myriad of things that we could do with this. Ideally, of course, we naturally want to use some of that money, which again, I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of money, to actually build out the project itself, to make sure we're actually able to successfully capture this carbon, right? But hey, what if we could take somewhat of a lump sum payment? Have you ever seen those commercials? I don't know if this is as prevalent in Europe or in Asia, but certainly in North America. You sometimes see these advertisements that say, hey, are you a lottery winner? And maybe in the case of your lottery, you took an annuity payment and you'd rather have just a lump sum cash distribution, right? Well, there are companies that will buy, and I'm simplifying this, they'll basically buy that stream of income that you are scheduled to receive as a result of having won your lottery. And, they'll work it out so you get a bit of a discount, or not a discount, but you'll get a little bit less money, right? Because they got to earn like a bit of a return. But the point is that you actually just get like a lump sum right up front. Now, a lot of like national lotteries give you that option already. Hey, you could just take a lump sum cash option, or alternatively an annuity. But in some cases, I guess some people take annuities, or, only an annuity is available if it's a state, right? Or maybe provincial election. So you have companies that will do this. And so, hey, what if with this potential income stream that we have, set up, so to speak, can we potentially accelerate how quickly we gather that money so that we can not only make sure that the project is built out and that it's able to provide those carbon removal credits on time, every time, right? And help the environment, but it also then provides us with the ability to conceivably make some strategic moves and, make some other strategic decisions that could be quite interesting. Something else that I think bears mentioning is that part of the arrangement that Stronghold Digital Mining has with Carbonetic, right, which is our partner in this process. And I'm simplifying this a bit, right? But essentially, Stronghold Digital Mining, having paved the way for how a mine waste to energy facility can actually monetize their beneficial use hash, can go to other facilities here in the great state of Pennsylvania and say, hey, would you be interested in having an alternative source of revenue that doesn't involve selling to the grid? If so, look at what we're doing. Maybe we can help you do this, right? Because, again, to simplify it, it's almost as if though Stronghold has something of a master license. Like you think of these what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking on it, but say like you have a restaurant franchise. That's the word I'm looking for. So say you have like a restaurant, or you decide you want to open a restaurant. You're like, hey, I want to really open up a McDonald's, let's say, because hey, they've got the formula. I just got to kind of like infuse a lot of capital, right? And make sure that I follow the system that's already in place. And if I do that, there's a reasonable chance I'll be successful doing so. Similarly, Stronghold can turn to a lot of these other mine waste energy facilities and say, hey, we've already figured it all out. We've made the mistakes. We've got the scar tissue to prove it. We know how to do this efficiently and effectively. Let us come help you. And by the way, we'll just obviously, right, take a small percentage of the revenue that you'll be generating as a result of this process. So it's like the ultimate win-win situation. And therein lies additional opportunities, right? Like, hey, again, there's a lot, I think, that hangs in the balance with regard to being listed on this NASDAQ-owned Puro Earth registry. When this happens, it would not surprise me if the stock doubles. It wouldn't. Now, am I predicting it's going to double? No. Do I hope it doubles? Yes. Right? I mean, I'd imagine you would too. But, given the wackadoodle nature of the market, it's just as likely that we see Stronghold Digital Mining stock close down on the day, right? Given the insane nature with which our stock has generally traded as compared to our peers, it's just, right, it's been a bit of a twilight zone of sorts, right? So I am very, very, very keenly watching developments as it relates to our potential listing on the Puro Earth registry, similar to a biotechnology company that's saying, okay, we really put a lot of, time, effort, and energy into our clinical trials. Stage 1 was great. Stage 2 was awesome. Stage 3, hey, we passed with flying colors. All the data is being reviewed. Are we going to get approval now, right? And I think that's kind of where we're at. And, hey, if you want to follow the analogy all the way through, generally speaking, when a pharmaceutical company, when a biotechnology company has a drug that is finally approved, the stock price responds quite well. And I would hope and expect that is the case with shares of Stronghold Digital Mining. Okay, my friend, let's stay positive, let's be great, and we'll see each other again tomorrow.